rhinos, each weighing 500 kilograms, are chasing after tourists on the safari. At this moment, the tourists are frightened and panicked, screaming incessantly. You absolutely cannot imagine the consequences of provoking such massive rhinos. This is a scene unfolding on the African savanna. Two safari vehicles filled with passengers are observing wildlife in the reserve, but at this moment, several large rhinos up ahead catch the attention of the tourists. They all take out their phones to take pictures, completely oblivious to the fact that beside the two rhinos stands a small calf. To protect their offspring, the rhino parents continuously demonstrate and drive away towards the safari vehicles. Seeing the vehicles getting closer to the calf, the rhino father directly steps into the middle of the road, blocking the path of the safari vehicles, forcing them to stop in their tracks. As is well known in the animal kingdom, incidents of defending offspring by attacking bipeds have occurred, despite knowing that the rhinos were accompanied by their young. The safari drivers disregarded the safety of their passengers and recklessly approached. The rhinos also sent a message to the bipeds, urging them to take a detour. At this point, one of the rhinos directly bumped into the bumper of the leading safari vehicle, startling the vehicle into reversing and preparing to detour from another route. But at this moment, another safari vehicle refused to be deterred and insisted on testing the rhino's temper. A T directly drove towards the calf. Upon seeing this, the rhinos abandoned their young and chased after the safari vehicle relentlessly. The female tourists on the vehicle screamed loudly underneath the canopy of panic, further agitating the rhinos. It's worth noting that rhinos are often likened to tanks on land, and with just a few movements, they can easily crush a vehicle, like the small Safari 1. It seems these two rhinos have picked a fight with the safari vehicles today, and unless they pay the price, the rhinos won't let it go. At this point, the safari driver pressed down hard on the accelerator, causing the rhinos behind to accelerate as well. But the grass eaters were still no match for the gas guzzlers. A single turn left the rhinos trailing in the dust. On the other side, a man was flirting with death, parking his car next to a rhino in heat. Upon seeing this, the rhino charged directly at the car. The man remained nonchalant, thinking he would be safe inside the vehicle. But the following year, the rhino unceremoniously charged at the car, resulting in a crash and screams. The man's filming was interrupted, and it's uncertain whether he survived or if the grass grew a meter high on his grave. On the roads of India, wild elephants pose extreme dangers because of the food inside the car. They spare no kinship, and pedestrians can easily get injured if they're not careful. The bus in front, carrying 81 passengers, had a passenger with an itchy hand who offered bananas to the elephant. After enjoying the delicious bananas, the elephant refused to let the bus pass. With its long trunk, it searched inside the bus back and forth, scaring the driver into reversing the bus. The passengers on the bus started to panic. With parts of the vehicle falling off, passengers hanging onto the bus were also dropping. However, the elephant continued to follow the bus backward, without any intention of retracting its trunk. When the elephant moved too slowly, it brought the bus to a halt. Some passengers got off the bus for about 10 minutes. Taking advantage of the garage nearby, the elephant was temporarily deterred by the swiftly approaching cars. But then it immediately stuck its trunk into the bus again, snatching food. Many passengers failed to realize how dangerous it was to stay on the bus. The owner of the video drove towards the elephant once again, while another bus came to scare the elephant. However, these actions had no substantial effect. The elephant once again extended its trunk into the bus to search for food. Clearly, the bus was at risk of being overturned at any moment. Finally, the security personnel in the park received the distress call and quickly arrived to drive away the irrational elephant with the help of the security personnel. The bus safely left the scene. A tourist bus filled with passengers was heading toward the elephant. But unlike usual, the elephant had no intention of letting them pass easily. What followed would be a terrifying ordeal for the passengers on this bus. In order to avoid the elephant, The bus was forced to drive onto the grass by the roadside. As the bus stopped, the elephant gradually approached, extending its trunk through the windows. It was evident how immense the strength of the elephant was, as it single-handedly rocked the bus, shattering glass windows with its pushes. The passengers inside the bus had never experienced such a situation before, and they were terrified to their core. They feared that if this continued, the elephant might overturn the entire bus, which, given the massive size and power of the elephant, could lead to unimaginable consequences for the passengers. Fortunately, there were no casualties, and security personnel from the park soon arrived to rescue the situation. They managed to drive the distressed elephant away, allowing the bus to leave the area safely. "Hey, who's next? I'm coming for ya," a driver attempted to intercept a tourist bus filled with passengers, seeing the elephant's approach. The driver offered to bananas to the elephant. The elephant accepted the offering without hesitation. Normally, after receiving food, elephants would allow vehicles to pass. But today, this particular elephant seemed unwilling to let them go easily after finishing the bananas. The elephant extended its trunk into the bus through the windows. It was clear that the elephant found the 2 bananas insufficient and was searching for more. Unfortunately, the driver had only prepared 2 bananas. In this dangerous situation, the driver decided to reverse the bus in an attempt to shake off the elephant's harassment. However, the elephant did not relent, instead moving backward alongside the bus, given the slow pace of the reversing bus. It was nearly impossible to shake off the elephant this way. The passengers, having never encountered such a scenario before, began to flee outside the bus for safety, ready to run at a moment's notice. The situation was extremely perilous. With the risk of passengers being struck by the elephant's trunk, the power contrast between humans and elephants was stark. But luckily, luck favored the humans. Before long, another bus arrived from the opposite direction and drove directly between the elephant and the bus, attempting to separate them. The passengers on board the second bus were visibly nervous and also started to flee outside, indicating how tense and frightened they were. It was evident they were right to be cautious, especially with many women and children on board, and the children especially were terrified, crying loudly at the sight of the massive creature's harassment. Thankfully, the target this time was a bus, as the consequences could have been unimaginable if it were a smaller vehicle. Suddenly, the other bus forcefully drove into the space between the elephant and the first bus. The passengers on the second bus signaled that it was safe to leave quickly. However, the first bus lingered, unable to depart promptly. Perhaps many passengers had already exited the bus earlier for their safety, causing delays. In the end, the bus managed to drive away safely from the scene, leaving behind a tense atmosphere. Though many passengers remained on the bus, some still hesitant to disembark due to safety concerns in the remote wilderness. Just then, another bus from the opposite direction made a daring move, driving directly toward the elephant and the stranded bus, aiming to intervene. This action reassured the passengers, prompting them to disembark quickly. As the situation unfolded, it became clear that the danger had passed, and the intervention of the second bus helped avert a potential disaster. With the distressed elephant driven away, the first bus finally managed to depart from the scene, leaving behind a sense of relief mixed with lingering apprehension. In the aftermath of the encounter, the passengers recounted their harrowing experience, grateful for their escape from the perilous situation. The incident served as a stark reminder of the unpredictable and sometimes dangerous encounters one might face while exploring the wilderness. As the buses moved on, the passengers reflected on their encounter with the majestic yet unpredictable creatures of the wild, thankful for their safety and the opportunity to continue their journey.